Okay, my friends, how many times have you thought, I wonder what program or offer I can add to my studio that will create a buzz and really just excitement in the four walls of our studio? And if you're anything like me, it's a constant question I'm asking myself. I really consistently am thinking about, how do I continue to grow? How do I continue to innovate, excite, and delight our families? And honestly, if you know me, it's basically, how do I be the Disney of the dance community? Because that's what they do oh so well over in the Disney. We call it the Disney bubble. They do it so well over there. And they're continually thinking about that. How do I innovate? How do I supersize plus things? How do I do that? And so I wanted to take a moment, and in this week's episode, we're bringing on my guest and client and friend, Mandy, and she's going to share with us not only how she created more excitement in her studio, um, but also how she's really adding to impact and really creating a legacy. It's a topic that has been coming up in my community a lot recently. And I could tell you it was a big conversation that was being had at the Dance Studio Owners Business Retreat in Ireland, where we were both together, not only for her, but for other studio owners that were in attendance. And today I'm so excited that we get to have this conversation, um, because this program is really moving her towards what's next for her and really plus sizing things. So I am going to bring her in, let her do the formal introductions, and then her and I are really going to be chatting. Now, if you've stumbled upon this episode somehow, I'm Erin Bird, and I support dance studio owners and educators to really just grow their businesses, create what's next for them, all really focusing on what their unique vision is without the burnout, the overwhelm, the sacrificing the personal life, because you actually don't have to. It doesn't have to be that way. And so if you're joining us, say, hey, what's up? Let us know that you're here. Even if you come back in on the replay, we know a lot of friends do that this time of year. Let us know that as well. Just drop like a hashtag replay. And then we will continue the conversation with you, because y'all, this is an active conversation. We love to learn out loud around here. And what that means is, if there's a moment where you're like, that was really good, or ooh, that resonates with me, I would love for you to just drop it in, because then we can really anchor in those ideas. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in Miss Mandy. I'm going to put a little note over here. I'm like a multitasking, and I know that's probably not the best when we're like doing this live, but like, that's if you're here with me and you come often, it's what we do sometimes over here. So let me go ahead and bring her in, and we are going to really get. You're there! Yay!
Hi. Hello.
Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and take myself off screen for a minute, let you do the formal entry, like who you are and all the things. And then we're going to dive into this conversation about the journey, where you kind of started, and then how you are coming to where we're at. And then obviously talking about bringing in the ballroom and how that adds some buzz and excitement and really pluses the experience for your family. So I'm gonna be quiet, which is hard for me.
Yeah. No problem. Well, thank you, first of all, Erin, for having me. I had the amazing opportunity to first meet Erin in Ireland. If you get a chance to travel with her, I highly suggest it. It was such an amazing experience. So thank you. Thank you for having me on. A little bit about me. I am a retired professional world champion ballroom dancer. But maybe even more importantly, I have been a children's dance studio owner the past 15 years and a dance educator for over 20 years. So for me and my journey, my dance studio, we teach children traditionally. So ballet, jazz, tap, hip hop, all of the things. And I have had friends of mine ask me for years, so you got so far in ballroom, You've trained with the top people in the world. You have a vast experience and knowledge. Why do you not teach ballroom at your studio? This has been the question forever. And really, I would say that, a children's dance studio, the way that it introduces information and the way that ballroom do, they kind of run parallel and never the two shall meet. And so I really kind of set out on this journey. It's been in the back of my mind for a while, but to translate what ballroom dance instruction would look like in a children's dance class, and really ultimately also making it accessible for kids around the globe. Until now, it has been a bit inaccessible. If you wanted to learn just the basics, you would have to invest in some expensive private lessons for an extended period of time. And I think that's amazing as an adult with a wonderful hobby. But oftentimes, as a parent for kids, I know myself, I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old little girl, and would I invest that not knowing if they'll love it or not? Maybe not. So I really wanted to give studio owners the opportunity to use their current staff to train them because we love them. We invest so much in our own culture and so much in our teachers to be able to utilize those teachers to train this next generation of kids.
Yes.
So that's a little bit.
No, I love it. And, I think that so many times, like I said, we get, actually just yesterday in Facebook Messenger, someone messaged me, a studio owner, and said, I've been at this for 35 years. And I'm always trying to decide, like, how do I bring on something new? How do I keep our studio not only at the forefront being known as the go-to, but I want to really be known as the go-to because we are offering the best, the not necessarily just like the newest, but like how are we continuing to grow together as a studio with my staff, and how are we filling the needs of our community?
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh my gosh, you have to come tomorrow to our live stream." I did. I said, "You have to come tomorrow to our live stream because she was like, we have acro, we've got, all the things." She was just like listing off, boom, 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 boom. I've invested in, this preschool curriculum, particularly because I loved, whatever, it really helped our teachers hone in over here and da 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 da. And so, but I said, "Oh, you should come tomorrow." Because I said, "Do you have ballroom?" And she's like, "Oh no, I don't feel like we're qualified to teach ballroom." I'm like, "Well, tomorrow's the day for you." So hopefully you're either here live or you could come back in on the replay to those that I was talking to yesterday. But anywho, so I'm going to back it up just a little bit. And so we can kind of chat about this idea that you have a thriving studio that doesn't require you to be there.
Yeah. I have, just like many studio owners, it's really been my mission to up level my staff, to systemize the studio, and to really get it to a point where I don't have to be there for the day in, day out. I feel really fortunate to be in that space, and I feel so happy with the number of kids that we're able to inspire on a yearly basis within our community. So this was kind of born out of that because now how can I give more to them, but also why not share that with other kids and other studios around the globe?
Mhm. So that goes into the idea there's something in our community. It's the reoccurring theme, which I know it's that okay, we want to, all of us. I think if you go into the business in our industry, of being a studio owner or even an educator, we really have servants' hearts. We really want to make an impact in the lives of of our students, of the community, of the families that we serve. So making an impact is, I think, a thread that all of us can say that we share, right? And then I think that there's some of us who really look at it in a bigger way.
Mm.
And that bigger way is, okay, we've created the impact, which is amazing. And it continues that ripple effect. But then the next step is, okay, how do I build something bigger? How do I build an empire? And then really create a legacy that will live on after you? And I think that's where the what's next came for you. After you, sometimes we look at, I don't know about you, this was me personally. And I don't know, you can tell me if I'm off here. When I first started my dance company, I had no vision of me doing coaching or consulting. I had no vision of me running a nonprofit. That was not in my vision for myself in the beginning. When you first started your studio, was it in your vision to have an additional thing?
No, what's funny about that is, I opened a children's dance studio after I had already been competing professionally in ballroom for a number of years, just because uh, I just love teaching kids. Number one,
Yeah.
and it was my childhood dream, right? I wanted to open up this children's dance studio and have all of the fun traditions and the dance recitals and the competitions, and like I said, because the industries are so different, I really just didn't ever envision having a ballroom program or bringing ballroom into my studio. And for me personally, I love ballroom dancing. That's why I went to the heights that I did. That's why it was eat, sleep, drink, do ballroom dancing to kind of reach those levels. And for a number of years, after I retired, I really did nothing with it besides, occasionally continue to coach or inspire other people. And so to be able to dream a new way of adding this, and not only adding this for a way that my studio benefits and my kids benefit, but for a way for other studio owners to empower their staff that they already know and love to be able to learn something new, and for them to be able to teach it in a way that's easy to understand, in a way that they're already used to learning, I think is such a wonderful gift.
I would 100% agree, and I think that um, it's it's my point to all of that, I guess, is that it's okay for us to have new dreams.
Mhm.
And when I first started, honestly, my goal was like, I just don't want to have to work in my corporate job anymore. Like that was literally my goal. Was like it was sucking the soul out of me.
Mhm.
I was good at my job, but I didn't like my job because long story short, I had a moment of like, that come to Jesus moment where I had a casting director tell me, like, pull me aside and say, "You're 5 feet tall, sweetheart. We are never getting a job." Kind of crushing. So then I went into like
Yeah.
the corporate world, which, whatever. And I was good at it. But I was like, oh, I just want to dance, right?
Yeah. The artist within all of us, right?
I was like, I love teaching and and so I'm like, I can make this happen. I can replace that corporate salary.
Yeah.
And I did. But and I wanted to be home with my kids. Like I wanted to have dinner with them at night and be the one to take them to soccer and to all of the things, right? So like that was my first vision and I was perfectly happy with it where we were at for a while, you know? But then I was like, what's next?
Yeah.
Right? Because I innately have that entrepreneurial
I
spirit.
was just gonna say that's the entrepreneur in you.
Yes. And so I we all are gonna have next seasons, new levels. And so I had someone tell me the other day that they literally stayed in bed for 30 days because playing games on their phone because they had created the studio of their dreams, right? It was running like clockwork. But then she was like, I don't know what's next for me.
I do.
And so she literally sat in bed, like doing this, playing games
Yeah.
until finally she's like, I can't do this. I've done this for a whole month now. What am I doing with my life? Which sounds silly and extreme, but I am not joking you. True story. Okay. And
Gotta
so
stop the Candy Crush.
that's what I said. I was like, did you like max out? What happened?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And so yes, we have to look at like it's okay to have a new vision and a new dream. Like you accomplish the one, which makes you an amazing rock star. Just anyway, you're one of the small percentages of people who actually like get to the top of Everest.
Mhm.
But then it's those people who get to the top of Everest aren't like, well, I'm good. Like they're always looking at well, what's next.
Right. What's
Like,
next?
where's
What's the
my
next
mountain?
mountain? What is
Yeah, what's
the
the
next
next mountain?
peak?
Right.
Yeah,
So same thing. And it really is about creating something that can live on then after
definitely.
you. And as I'm going to date myself, as I get older, and I've been doing this for, 25 years. It's fine. It's fine. No, I really don't care. With that wisdom, and as I get older, I do recognize that for me, I do want something that's going to live on, and I want to know that like the impact that I've made in students' lives, in studio owners' lives, will continue to then affect those students down the road.
Yeah.
And
Really,
like,
that ripple effect is
yeah,
just amazing.
yeah, it is. So tell me a little bit. I mean, I know a little bit, but let's tell everybody a little bit about the program because you, not that this hasn't been in the background, maybe, for a while. You also, this didn't take you years and years and years to create.
No.
And I'm saying this for a reason because there's a lot of times where we tell ourselves that if it was hard the first time or if it took a long time the first time, that anything you're going to do moving forward is going to take a long time or is going to be super hard. But I think when you're passionate about something and you make the time and you're invested in the end results, things can actually happen pretty quickly. And you can really grow something amazing in just a short amount of time. But anywho, so I saw you in November in Ireland.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, game on.
Yeah.
And so talk to us about like if a studio owner was like, oh, I'm interested in this idea of ballroom, like, but I'm not quite sure how this could work for my studio or my staff because I feel like finding a ballroom teacher would be like finding a needle in a haystack in our community because if they are good,
They're
or
probably already booked. Number one.
or they're teaching at a ballroom studio, the ballroom studio or whatever that we have, they're probably already occupado. So what, like talk to me about like your program and how it really first starts with your staff and then how do we translate that into our students?
Yeah, I think this is one of the most important parts about the program. I really wanted it to make it easy for studios. I know studio owners are busy. We have a whirlwind of things and different things to do at all types of times of the year that when you think about adding a new program, it's like, this sounds amazing. I think my kids would love it. I just don't know how much time it's going to take for me, how much time it's going to take for my staff. And so I was really, really mindful when creating this program because I do not want something that is going to take a month for your staff to learn or, tons of extra marketing dollars or ad spend for you to even implement. So really everything is included for you to launch when you join the program. And from a curriculum standpoint, we really make it as easy as possible for your instructors because they're busy, they're teaching other classes, they're creating other lesson plans. So we actually have the program is designed to introduce kids to 10 different styles of ballroom dance throughout your season. So the regular season runs along your the regular if you have an 8-month season, 9-month season, 10-month season, however that works. It can be modified for a summer camp, a summer class, a mini session. We include how to do that, but let's just talk about main session. We all the things, right?
Right.
But when thinking about how your staff deliver the information, every lesson plan is pre-created for your teachers. So they know what to do. We have Spotify playlists for every single class. They don't have to find music. The music is chosen for them. It tells them the warm-up, which is great. They're introduced to a new style each month. So they're keeping a consistent warm-up for those 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on the month. So that builds consistency and repetition in your students. It gives them that initial feeling of success because for each week, they're coming back knowing something. And then the rest of the format of the class, it's kind of designed in a similar way to a jazz class. You're doing some things in the center where we're working on elements and technique. You have some things that are moving them around the room, across the room, and then they do get to learn a fun combination to implement what they've learned each week. So it naturally builds the excitement while introducing them to the elements and learning within the program. But from a learning standpoint, we make the videos super easy to digest. So 5 minutes or less. class because we know you're busy. We introduce it in a way that a dance educator is able to easily understand. It's not taking a ton of their time. They're only having to learn a few things before each class so that way they can easily implement it. Have the lesson plans that walk them through those classes. And for us, we actually launched this in February at actually mid-January. So we've been doing it for a few weeks. We actually have it, or a few months. We have it going at our studio, and our teachers are really, really excited about implementing it. And they've been doing a great job, and they have zero ballroom experience. So it's really cool to see it in action.
Yeah, no, I love it. And here's what I'm going to say, y'all, because again, another conversation that's been coming up in my messenger a lot lately is this idea of like you said, I want to start something, or I know I need to make some changes, but I need to get through recital. I need to get
through competition season, through Nutcracker.
Right,
There's something all the time.
Yes. And here's what I would also say, this is something that if I was I am an owner, but if I was in their shoes, I would think about, okay, what program am I going to introduce? Right now is the perfect time for me as an owner to figure out, okay, I'm going to decide on a program, and whether it's ballroom, acro, whatever it is, I'm going to decide on it. And then we're going to do a big staff thing and get our staff excited over the summer, hey, let's do an intro. What I love over the summer, again, dip the toe in and then go full hog, go full forward in the fall.
Yes. We have actually a lot of studios that have joined recently, and they're adding it to their summer program just because it is a wonderful way to get kids excited about it without a huge commitment. It gets your staff used to teaching the material and being introduced to a few different styles in a small proximity of time. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that what's really true right now is, and I'm sure you see it because we're on all the different pages and groups and all the things, that the reality is that post-pandemic, which I hate to go back to all the time, but post-pandemic, attention is really challenging for a lot of students inside the classroom. And it's challenging because we have screens and all the things. But really, the reality of it is that they're so used to instant gratification, quick wins, right? And I think that we have to shift as educators a little bit. And I love that you are giving them that there's always a carrot, right? And what I mean by that is okay, we're going to do this for 4 weeks. And next month, you know what style it's going to be. They don't know.
Exactly.
Right. And so it's exciting. It's almost like them getting to come in and try all the different styles. You know what I mean? Whether it inside your studio space where you have someone, you're like, this week, we're going to do hip hop 1 week, next week, jazz, next week, contemporary. It's that, it's when you go to dinner and you get that sampler appetizer. And
and you know what? Erin, I'll make it even better for you. So we also have, you receive passports in your onboarding. So every student gets a passport. And so in it, they have every style of dance, and they get a stamp in their passport for each week that they do a style. So they can see, oh, wow, we've done 4 weeks of cha-cha. I can't wait to get to the next one in my passport. I want to fill my entire passport. And so even if you're not making a huge deal of it, it's mentally in there, naturally creating that retention, because it's that FOMO, right? I want it, right? It's gamification. Exactly.
Yes. I love
for
it.
you.
I mean, that's a little, I love that. And it's part of the process. It's part of the retention. It's part of them being excited. It's dangling the carrot. It's, have you ever taken the kids to Disney World and Epcot where you can do the passport?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So you could totally do that. I have to say, my kids are not little anymore. But there is a company called Little Passports. I don't know if you ever heard of it. But anyway, it's a subscription company. It's kind of not the same thing, but what it is every month they send you a subscription, and it is about traveling and learning about different parts of the world. And
I think I've seen that.
I love it. My kids love it. But anyway, I love that because again, they were excited every single month for what's the country that we're going to do this month,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
and because y'all know I love to travel.
Yes.
So I wanted to instill that excitement and love in my children
Exactly.
as well. I'm
You're going to love to travel too.
like, so I
I love
love
it.
that. I really do because I think that that's something that is challenging for so many studio owners is really like, how do we get them excited to come back, not only week after week, but month after month and
Yeah.
keep the retention there and without feeling like, oh my gosh, I have to think up and do all the
One
things,
more thing. Right,
one more
exactly.
thing, right?
Mhm.
Because we do. I mean, we feel like we're doing all the things.
All the things.
So I love that it's totally plug and play and that, it allows your staff to really feel confident in what they're doing. So absolutely. I mean, I really do love it. I love that they have, and then I think you told me, do you have, when they buy into this program,
Mhm.
right? Because I think it's absolutely amazing and worth it. They get the Spotify list, they get the lesson plans, all of that stuff, the marketing. Do you have support for them? Like if, I mean, I assume because I know you, but like,
Yeah.
is there a way for them to get support? It's not just like, okay, well now on your own.
Yes, yes, definitely. I love being able to have this kind of live interaction. So on a monthly basis, we have a live kind of community Zoom call that you're able to. I am there. You're able to speak to me, get your questions out. It's actually been amazing because the last two calls that we've had some great ideas come from our current members that we've been then able to implement specifically regarding so for example, one studio owner wanted their desk staff who doesn't get access to the program, they're not teaching it on a regular basis, they want to be able to sell the program and know everything about it. So we specifically created an FAQ that's customizable for your studio, and now all studios have that, so that way their desk staff can be well informed, be able to answer all the questions for their parents,
Mhm.
kind of be able to point them to the shoe guide that we provide, that studio owners are able to customize and share. So that was one brilliant idea that just came from a community connection call, and we do those live every month.
Oh, I love it. I love it because that's something that I know I've heard. Sometimes, you might buy, or something that they're afraid of is like you buy into a program and that is really a plug and play, but then there's no support. And so they feel like, oh, this is great,
How do I do
but
this?
right. Or like my teacher was going through this and they had a little question about XYZ. And so like I think that part is really valuable to be able to have the ongoing support in that community forum and having live interaction and someone, it's not just like email. Like
Right, yes, and of course there's email, so you can
right,
always
of
email us,
course.
but it's so much better to be able to kind of
Yes.
talk it out and really have those, aha moments, because sometimes if you're having that aha moment, it's really also going to give another studio owner that aha moment. So it's a great place to share.
100%. I agree with you. I think that um, there have been so many inside of our coaching programs and things where we're in the group and they're like, hey, so and so said this thing, and it made me start to think, and like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And so it does. It's that it helps spark those ideas for yourself, and like, okay, she said this is working over here for her. And I don't. That really doesn't align necessarily for me and my culture, but it made me think, how can I do something that would align with me? Because it's a great idea. It's a great
Yes.
jumping off point. But yes, I think so many times those things just naturally come and it just sparks that creativity for yourself. And it sparks hmm, let me put on my thinking cap and see, or, oh my gosh, that answered my question and five others that I didn't even know that I had.
Right. Exactly.
Right. So
Exactly.
I absolutely love that. So I know you said the 10. Is there so far I know you've rolled it out and I know you haven't gone through all 10 styles yet at your studio.
Mhm.
But so far has there been one that you think has been like the kids' favorite?
It's really interesting because so the way that I structure the program is strategic because just
Yes,
like in
it
ballet
is.
class, you have to learn how to plie before you can then tendu and then do a
Right,
pirouette, right? Like you
right,
need those foundations before you can
right.
be turning. And it's the same thing. So some of the elements that you're going to learn when you start salsa right away, we revisit in cha-cha. But what
Mhm.
was really fun to see is that everyone kind of goes into it thinking of the Latin styles, like they start with salsa, but then the very next style that they're introduced to is waltz, which
Mhm.
is very balletic. It has a lot
Yeah.
of similar stylistically, the arm styling and some of the body movements. And so it was fun to see how kids that thought they were just going to like the Latin styles of dancing, suddenly they felt really confident and
Mm.
comfortable from week to week when they were exploring the waltz. And they were like, maybe I do like some of this smooth dancing.
That's so
So
cool.
it's great to see that mix and it's great to see the implementation and what kind of those aha moments for them as well.
Yeah. Well, and I think because again, like you said, if there hasn't been a ton of exposure to all the different styles that there is in the ballroom world,
Yeah.
right? They might see, like you said, they might see the salsa or, even if they've been watching Dancing with the Stars or something like that, like they might see a few of them, but still, even then, it's like, yes, how does that translate to them and what they're already taking inside the studio?
Hmm.
And then what are the similarities, but then what is it that's different, and learning something different, how to engage your core differently, like how to
Yeah.
do all the different things. So I think that it's
You know,
really, really
one of
neat.
the just to piggyback off of that, one of the exciting side benefits that we've noticed with the kids taking these classes is ballroom is really great at improving foot speed and control.
Mhm.
And so, especially when they start with salsa, so that's something that they're already working on. It's a faster dance, it's syncopated. There's a lot of fast but controlled movements to be able to get from one thing to the other. It's really neat to see how that then they have that control in their jazz class, in their jazz routine. Some of
Mm.
the movements that previously it was like, not to say that, but it's like, oh, I would love a little bit more of a control
Yeah.
syncopated movement here
Yeah.
or some better timing. Being
Yes.
able to see that crossover in a real life, implementation, it's pretty cool to witness.
That's really awesome. That makes my heart so happy to hear. And I
Yeah.
think well, because honestly, we could all say it. There are some that you're like, "Want, want, what is
Yeah.
happening here?" Like, it's just, I mean, it is like there, and that's okay. Um,
Yeah. The joy of dance
but
is still good. It's still
right,
valid.
right. But we are always looking, it's like not only for us as teachers, but for our students, what are the resources, what are the tools that we have in our toolkit to help them improve in all areas,
And to
right?
reach their highest, right? Like what
Yes,
is the highest point that they can go to? And how
right.
are we helping them reach that?
Well, and I think that, and this is just me, but it's also, I'm all about really the access and the exposure
Mhm.
when it comes, like, especially in our nonprofits, education, access, exposure. Those are our three pillars in our
Mhm.
nonprofit. And it's giving them that moment of like, what's going to bring them joy? And
Yes.
so sometimes they wouldn't, in a, traditionally, let's just say it's like, yes, you have this very much over here is your traditional children's dance studio. Then
Mhm.
over here, you've got your ballroom. And like you said, never do the two,
Yes.
two meet
Yeah.
necessarily. Right. And as a parent, I'm like, well, like, I don't know, what's going to make the most sense. And are they going to have,
Exactly.
feel like they're going to have friends over here at the traditional
Yeah.
studio, but I don't know. Is it all going to be all old people?
I know, and
You know,
and it's
I
kind
don't
of the it really is part of the heart of the mission for me is to be able to share in the heritage of so many different styles of dancing, in ballroom because like you said, it's, in my area now it's different all across the US, but to put it into perspective, the current rate for a 40-minute, ballroom private lesson is $186. Now, with that as a parent, I think that there are definitely people that think that that's a great investment, and I completely agree. I think the level of instruction is amazing, but for my 8-year-old wanting to try it and see if she loves it, I would love to expose it her to a class where maybe she has her teachers that she already knows and loves. Maybe some of her friends are in the class already. And then we'll see, oh my goodness, she does. This is such a great program. She loves ballroom. I will, to be able to continue this without a partner at the
Mhm.
studio that we love already at a rate that as a family we can afford.
Mhm.
All of those variables, like you were mentioning, make a huge difference in a family aspect.
Well, 100%. I could say here, my program manager, she's like, obviously they don't have ballroom at her daughter's studios that they attend. And she's like, I was really surprised because at convention,
Hmm. They
they
offer it.
offer it and they've gotten a taste of it and they love it and they actually are really good at it. Like
Hmm.
they got called out, which I did not expect,
Yes.
because they never tried it before. And she's like, but again, it's that okay, time and
Yeah.
money and energy and like, is this something that one wants to, because she has two daughters, does one
Yeah.
want to really continue this or the other? But my point to all of that is like, I think that what you're doing is absolutely amazing. That's why I wanted to bring you on. Not only is you guys like, I think that you can't go wrong here. I think that the support is absolutely, spot on. And I think that it's something that when you're thinking about adding a program and something that is going to excite and delight and
Yes.
again be that taster, it's that
Yeah.
sampler. It's like, let me taste test this right before I go all in.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing. And not only does it help you increase what you already have going on, you can plus classes, like this is an
Yep.
upsell to
Hmm.
your current family base, but it's also a way to bring in new leads into your studio for those families who are like, oh, I think this would be cool for my kid. But
Yeah.
again, we're not ready to invest $186 for for private lessons a week or
Yeah.
whatever it is. And so it's a way to also, again, show that you are a very well-rounded studio and that you are there to really serve the community in the best way possible and adding those sort of programs to make sure that you're always plussing it. Like,
Right. Yeah.
that's what we want, or we should want. We want to make sure that what we have is the best and it's the
Yeah. And it
way to
really
become used the
grows.
go-to community.
Exactly, and it grows with you for kind of both of those avatars, right? The one that wants to try it, maybe they're newer, they're looking to add a different class, and also your more competitive dancer that wants to be commercially ready or the standout at conventions because the program has beginner through advanced learning for your classes, still without a partner, introducing all of those fundamentals. So, really, really cool for all of those different opportunities.
No, I love it. I love it so much. So, how can they connect with you? I mean, I went ahead and threw the link in for us here, and then we'll come back into the comments too and like add the link. But if they wanted to connect with you, ask questions, find out information, where would you like them to go?
Yeah, definitely visit our website. That's the go-to place. There's a link at the bottom if you wanted to reach out and connect with us directly.
Mhm.
Also, for all of Erin's listeners, we created a coupon code. If you use code Erin, ERIN, at checkout, you do receive 15% off of your onboarding package as our gift to you for saying thank you for connecting with us on her show.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. That was so nice of you. You didn't have to do
Yes.
it. It was good. I love it. So if you had, I always ask this question kind of thing, and you're like, oh Lord, what is it going to be? If you're like, oh Lord. So for you, like, what's your big dream for this program? Like if you
I
what's your big dream? What's your vision for this particular program?
I would love to see. So we just launched in February. We're already in 2 countries, but I would love to see it globally. I think it'd be so neat to be able to connect with studio owners around the world, to be able to impact their classrooms in different environments and in different settings, and to really be able to level up not only their studios, but the program as a whole. Because, like I mentioned, through those community sessions, we continue to build the program, we continue to add things. And I would love for this to be something that really makes an impact for studios and students worldwide.
It makes my heart so happy because I think it really is something that's been needed in our community. That there definitely was a gap, and that you found a way to really help not only bridge the gap but fill the gap. And I can absolutely see this being used worldwide. I can tell you also, I remember like the first time that I got like outside my first client outside the US, and I was like,
Yay, we're international.
and then but then you start to add, and you start to look at all the different countries and the different places that, again, it goes back to that little ripple effect, and you're like, oh my goodness, and that is where I can say it becomes bigger than you.
Mhm.
And that that this is legacy driven, and that people are going to learn for years to come based upon what you put out there in the world and how you're showing up. Which I have to tell you guys, this probably wasn't part of your plan and you didn't know that I was going to say it, but I am so excited because you're going to be at Dance Teacher Web with me this summer.
I am, yes. And I will be teaching a class. So I will be teaching beginner salsa and waltz. So come see me. I love to see friendly faces.
I might have to leave my booth to the team during
Yes.
the sessions.
Come dance.
Come dance and have fun with you. But yeah, we're going to both be at Dance Teacher Web this summer. Of course, I've got a couple sessions in our booth, which we always have. And then you are going to have one as well, a booth, and be able to teach that session, which I'm super excited about. Y'all, so come have fun. Dip your toe in the water. Because what I also can tell you to be true is that we need classes for just ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to keep that little fire and passion, because even the other day I told one of my clients, I was like, I feel like I need to go to class.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I just need for myself right now. And she's like, you know what? I kind of feel the same way.
I know.
Because you get so busy doing everything for everybody else. And you stop.
It's kind of a side benefit, I have to tell you, because I have an instructor that teaches BallroomKids at our studio, and she loves Dancing with the Stars. And so she says, I actually really look forward to preparing my lesson plan and learning the content because I am learning ballroom. And I've always wanted to learn ballroom. And she's like, and I get to do that just by teaching this class.
It's amazing, right? It's the ripple
Yeah,
effect is
it's fun.
absolutely amazing. When you're staff, the key to student retention is staff retention. And when our staff are really excited and they're feeling fulfilled because they get to, I've always wanted to learn ballroom, but never had the opportunity. And now I'm getting paid to learn ballroom, and
Yeah,
then to go
exactly.
share that love, like, it's a
Yeah,
win. That keeps your staff happy.
win-win.
So this is a way to not only invest in your students, but in your staff.
Mhm.
And I love that. I love it. Okay, my friend. So I know I said that was last thing. Okay. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Anywhere in the world. You know what? I have to say, I had just the best time in Ireland that I want to go back.
Okay, so I have to tell you, I mean, for this, y'all know this year we're not going to Ireland. We're
Yes.
going to Australia. But
Also bucket list destination for sure.
we'll talk after this. But I have to tell you that Genevieve's on our team and she's in Ireland, and we had a mini conference in Dublin while we were there last year, and I've actually, some of the studio owners who came to the conference, they were like, when are you coming back? Can you please come back? We need more. They need more continuing education opportunities because they just don't have them like we do here in the US. And so we will be going back to Ireland. We don't have dates yet, but I think it was just a magical, like, I feel like it was just a magical trip. Everyone was so nice. Like,
Yes.
there was not a unkind person in the whole country, I felt
Yes.
like.
It really was magical. I will say it. Just the whole group, the whole experience. Magical is the best way to describe it.
Do you believe in magic? You have to just start singing and dancing with everything. But I mean, really, that's important to me. And I'm so glad that we got to spend the time together and that we get to
Yes.
continue. And, but I just love what you're doing. And so I thought that it was so
Thank you.
important to bring you on and to share with everyone. And studio owners, what I will tell you right now is that even though all the things are happening and it is that time of year, we cannot lose sight of what's the future holds, because if we do, we're going to get, future's going to get here. And then we're going to say, well, shit, I missed it. I should have been doing this. Like, I mean, honestly, let's call a spade a spade. We have to plant the seeds and water the seeds for those seeds to grow. Like, we are all, if I can leave you with anything, we are all airplanes, not helicopters. In our businesses, and we need the launch. We need time to, ramp up and soar. Most of us, and most things that we do, it's not like, oh, I planted the seed and whoop, all of a sudden there's an oak tree. No, it just doesn't work that way. So, my friends, I will highly encourage you to take a look at Ballroom Kids. I think that the program is absolutely amazing. You know me, I'm not going to suggest anything that I don't believe in. And so I think that this is going to be a really great opportunity for our industry. And I am just so excited to see the continued magic and the ripple effect and all of the studio owners and the lives that you get to impact through this particular program. And knowing you, I feel like there's also a what's next. So
you might have to have me on again. Might be a new conversation.
It would be a new conversation, but you find, as I go through life, I see that there are just people who have that entrepreneurial spirit, and it is just innately part of who they are. And you create something, you build it out, you leverage it, and then you decide the what's next, right? And I will leave you guys with this little story because I like stories. Clearly, I'm a storyteller. We were driving, my family and I were driving down the road, and they were building like those drive-through car washes. And I just naturally said, I wonder what it costs to build one of those. That was my statement. And of course, my family is kind of cheeky, and they're like,
You're going to open one.
They're like, are we going to have, what is it going to be, the bird bath? And I was like, ooh, that's not.
Oh, I love that. Please tell me you opened the bird bath.
We have not opened the bird bath. But then it started a spiral of like different things. And I was like, probably sharing too much here. Then I was like, ooh, we actually did look into like a laundromat situation.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, ooh, we can call it Dirty Birdies. I'm like, I don't know about that, right? But that is just who I am.
You have a plethora of business opportunities.
And then my husband said, "What would you have done if my last name wasn't Bird?" And I was like, "I don't know. It just wouldn't be the same." Oh, yes. Okay, so there's a comment. I never remember to wash my car, but put one next door to where I'm dropping off my kids, and easy peasy, I will go through that bird bath, right? So, like, yes, so true. But really, like, I think that we all, some of us just have this really strong entrepreneurial spirit, and you are one of those people. And I feel like I'm just so lucky to know you and be able to share the amazingness and the stamp and the legacy that you're leaving in our community. So it makes my heart happy. So thank you again for coming on, sharing your new amazing program. And like I said, I can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I can't wait to see you live and in person at Dance Teacher Web.
I know, it's going to be so good. We're going to have so much fun. So we will see y'all there. Okay, my friends, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. Truth be told, we have our Empire Builders Club that happens in 10 minutes. And today's masterclass is actually, we're going to talk all about nonprofits and how to grow them, build them, leverage them. So me and Samara are getting ready for that. So I do have to go, but I will be back on next week for another episode of the Aaron Bird Live Show, where we talk business, strategy, tips, tricks, mindset, and hopefully a little joy in your week when we come on and I tell you guys all the stories about all the things. I mean, you either love me and you're here and you're like, this girl's wackadoodle and I'm here for it. So I don't know, but I'm going to leave you there. I hope you all have a fantastic week and I will see you all very, very soon. Bye, friends.
That's good. Bye.